Swain Event, Tom!
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Give it to his mouth and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday morning, January the 29th. Jason Swain here with you, live from the Low T Center studio. Man, I wish it was July. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Ben, you cool with being in January right now, or do you wish it was July? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I hope you are well. I am content with it being January. I despise this cold weather, as you know, but I do not want to fast forward through the end of this basketball season, and certainly do not want to skip through Josh Elander's first baseball season. So even though I hate the cold weather, I am perfectly good with it being January.
Good answer, man. Good answer. Good answer. That was good, man. That was real good. Man, that was good. That was a good answer. You can't beat that answer right there. Well,
I am excited for your birthday, though. I think, you turned 52 this year?
Yeah, I think somewhere close. It feels like it.
Man, I can't believe I'll have a 4-year-old by July 29th. How is that possible? You'll have one that's graduated high school. What is going on?
Well, the way it works is like the time, seconds and then minutes and then hours and then days and weeks, and it just doesn't really stop. And so over time, people get older, man. That's kind of how it works. But you know what? We in the present. You're right. The present is Tennessee getting a big-time road win against a good team in Georgia and finding a way to win. Whew, man, sure don't make it easy. Could be a lot easier. But Tennessee gets the 86-85 win. Cannon Catchings for Georgia was their leading scorer. Jacoby Gillespie was the leading scorer for Tennessee. Nate Ament continues to do his thing. Dropped 19 points. I didn't think he would go for 29 points like he did against Alabama, but we know those two guys, Gillespie and Ament, they're the two, and they combined for 40 points. The third score was the question: who's going to be the third guy? On Josh and Swain yesterday, I said that I thought it was going to be Amari Evans because of what he did against Arkansas, so I kind of picked him. He had 5 points in 12 minutes. My man is out there physical. He's physical out there, a little too physical, but we can always teach you to whoa boy rather than sick him. But the third score was Bishop Boswell, man. And then, J.P. Estrella. Those two guys really stepped up. But Estrella was really the third leading scorer for Tennessee. 8 for 12 from the field, 9 rebounds. I thought the game should have been decided in regulation, Ben. I thought Georgia shouldn't even been this close to Tennessee when you look at how the Vols dominated on the boards.
Well, and the reason it was close is because in the first half, in particular, they were missing shots. Tennessee could not make shots in the first half. I can't remember, or I have it right here in front of me. Tennessee started the game 5 of 8, and then it finished the first half 6 of 27. Made 5 of their first 8 shots, only made 6 of their next 27 to shoot 31% in the first half. They were 2 of 11 from 3. They were 4 of 7 at the free throw line. So 2 of 11 from 3 is not a pretty number, but they were missing a ton of. They weren't necessarily layups or bunnies, but they were missing
Some jump hooks.
some post moves where Tennessee had the advantage with its height, being able to shoot over Georgia. They were missing some mid range jumpers. The offense was getting good looks, whether it be off the first action, whether it be off of its initial offense, or whether it be via second chance opportunities. They just weren't making shots. And on the flip side of that, Cannon Catchings looked like Tamika Catchings and could not miss at all. He was 4 or 5 from 3 in the first half, and he certainly came back down to earth along with the Georgia team as a whole in the second half. And we talked about it yesterday. That's a good Georgia basketball team, but they came back down to earth a little bit in terms of their shooting percentage in the second half, mostly Catchings. But you're right. Tennessee should not have been down by 6 at halftime. It should have been out in front because of what it was doing on the glass. I mean, it took 10 more shots than Georgia in the first half, 15 offensive rebounds in the first half. Georgia only had 3 offensive rebounds in the first half, and it trailed by 6 just because I thought they weren't making shots. They simply weren't making shots, especially the closer they got to the basket.
52 rebounds to Georgia's 27.
And Mike White wasn't even mad about it after the game. One of his players was asked about it, and that Georgia player thought that it was all about effort. You gave the typical answer when you get out rebounded. It's all about want to. It's all about effort, because that's mostly what rebounding is, effort and want to. But Mike White was like, nah, I'm not afraid to get up here and disagree with my players in this room if I need to. I thought we played really hard. They're just an elite rebounding team, the country's best offensive rebounding team, and they have 6'10" Nate Ament with length, 6'11" JP Estrella, 6'11" Felix Akpara. I mean, it's what we talked about yesterday. Tennessee has more size than Georgia, and that's why they were able to dominate on the glass. Not only do they have more size height-wise, I just mentioned some of Tennessee's front court players and their height, but they're also physical in addition to that height, whereas Georgia has one physical post player, and Samto. You like that? Samto Sorrell. How you like that? I'm getting good with my Nigerian pronunciation. Samto Sorrell.
That's not his full first name, though.
That's what he goes by. And buddy, I walked past him. He looks like a creative player. His shoulders are so wide and muscular. He doesn't look like a real human being. It's incredible how physical he is. But he's the only player on their team over 6'9", and then they have a bunch of players listed at 6'9". But we know about listing heights on websites. I doubt all of them are exactly 6'9". So Tennessee had a distinct height advantage, and Mike White wasn't even mad about the disparity on the glass because he thought his team played hard. He just thought that Tennessee was just that good of a rebounding team. He said that he didn't expect he said he didn't expect Georgia to win the rebounding battle. He was just hoping that it was closer than what the difference ended up being, and he said that if it was any closer, then we would be sitting here smiling.
Are you in a Motel 2.5?
I'm in a Marriott, baby.
Man, they need to update their decor.
It had more decor than my office.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking it. Are you in Athens or you are in Atlanta? I'm in
Lawrenceville, so outside of Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you close by the in-laws, man. That's good, man.
You mean to stop by and check on them?
Yeah. Stop on by, man. Absolutely, man. I can't wait to get down there and visit the in-laws, man. Last time I've been down there was Thanksgiving. 865-255-03, the Garza Law hotline, Beatty Chevrolet text box on your free Swain Event app for Apple devices. You can throw in comments, questions throughout the show. We love to get to them. So please do that. We always love when you are part of the show. I mean, when you rebound the way that Tennessee rebounded, you always give yourself a chance. But the free throws, man, the free throws are scary. They're downright scary. 60%, 25 attempts, only made 15, 60%. It feels like the rebounding cancels out the free throws and vice versa. Like it just, Gillespie is so good. Like 37 minutes of the game. And I love me some Jacoby Gillespie. I just need for him to make some better decisions late in games. It's been like 3-4 games in a row. I know there's a lot of pressure on him to score with him and Nate Ament. Those are the only two guys. And I know he has to handle the ball a lot because I don't think we have the greatest ball handling starting five. So it puts a lot of pressure on Jacoby Gillespie. But, hey, man, that's why you're here at Tennessee. That's why you're paid the way you're paid, because of the value that you bring. But you still got to take care of that ball a little bit better, man. I love me some Jacoby Gillespie.
I thought Rick Barnes had an interesting answer when he was asked what Jacoby needs to do better at the end of games. And Rick said that he tells him to over dribble. And I thought that was an interesting response because typically you don't want guys over dribbling. But I guess the thought there would be because of what you just said about Tennessee not being a great ball handling basketball team because they have limited options of who can really handle the basketball. I guess that's why he wants Jacoby to over dribble in those situations. But it almost seemed like he was over dribbling on a couple of those possessions, and that's why Tennessee was not able to get a shot up. Maybe from my perspective, it seemed like he was over dribbling, where in reality he or somebody else was struggling to communicate and function within the play that they were supposed to run. So maybe that's why it looked like he was over dribbling, because the play that was on was not being executed for whatever reason. But I thought that was an interesting response, just because you never hear a coach say that, hey, I want my guy to over dribble. But I would imagine that that's because he's their best ball handler. And, of course, there are other guys who can handle the ball, but he's really only the only ball handler that you trust in a massive way on this roster, or it's his kind of natural position. Bishop Boswell can do it as well, but he struggled with turnovers at certain points this year. I do feel like he started to clean those up here of late. I think Nate should have the ball in his hands more in those type of situations. I think Nate is a pretty good ball handler, especially given his size and position and being a freshman. But
being a freshman,
well, guys improve over the course of their career. Jacoby's a better ball handler as a senior than he is a freshman, just for the simple fact of being older. And part of it, I think, is just knowing what it's like to go up against this competition as well. It's different handling the ball against SEC teams than high school teams. So that was kind of what I was thinking by that comment. But Rick also added that he wants Jacoby to start using his mid-range game more. He said that he thinks that Jacoby Gillespie can be one of the best players in the mid-range game in the entire country, and he would like to see him utilize that more with his floater or with a mid-range jumper.
I don't know if you noticed this during the game, and again, we won the game. I'm thrilled. We, for the first time this season, we have won 2 games back to back in conference play. We've been kind of rotating back and forth the last couple of weeks, but I'm thrilled we won the game. This could be us turning the corner. You got Auburn at home. This could be 3 in a row. Auburn's going to be a tough team. We know what Stephen Pearl wants to do to Tennessee. He doesn't like Tennessee, and that's cool. But I was watching the game. I don't know if you noticed this, Ben, but I was like, yo, what is up with the awareness and the situational? We inbounding the ball. We know Georgia's about to foul after attempting to steal the ball. Why is Felix Okpar catching the ball? We don't want him getting fouled. We want our best free throw shooters getting fouled, which in this case is really only Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie. So I kind of wanted Jacoby to work a little bit better, smarter, to get the ball late in the game to go to the free throw line. I don't want Felix Okpar at the free throw line with the game on the line. 64%, that ain't going to work for me. I need a little bit of a higher percentage free throw shooter at the line in late game moments. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. I thought Georgia did a really good job of covering that particular inbound play, but from the Tennessee side of things, you were coaching them like, hey, you gotta fight a little more to get open.
You got to get open.
So that was, I don't remember who the inbounder was, and the
It might
media.
have been Nate.
That makes sense. He's typically been the inbounder of late, because he is a good passer and makes good decisions, has good basketball IQ. Nobody was open. Felix was the only one. That's why Felix ended up with the basketball. He's the last resort on that play, and he had to come down and help Nate out. And I thought Georgia did a good job of, defending the initial action to eliminate Nate's options of who to get the ball into, and then fouling right away, recognizing that Felix caught the ball and fouling right away. So I don't know. You obviously do not want Felix to get the basketball in that situation, but I thought it was one of those moments where tip your hat to Georgia. They did a great job of defending it. But if you're coaching up Tennessee, you're certainly telling Jacoby, Bishop, whoever else was on the floor, you got to fight harder to get open, because we can't have Felix catching the ball, like you said, and going to the free throw line. Now, Felix he missed the first free throw, did make the second one to make it a 3-point game, if I remember correctly. So he at least was able to do that, but you would certainly rather have somebody else shooting those free throws. I wonder if they need to reconsider inbounding the basketball with Nate Ament, because Nate started to find his stroke from the free throw line. And he is somebody that I want taking free throws at the end of games. He would be number 2 behind Jacoby in terms of who I would want shooting free throws. So maybe they need to rethink him inbounding the ball and put him in a spot to where he can receive the inbound in case the other team does foul right away, like they did on Felix.
Well, here's the problem. You want your best passer and decision maker inbounding the ball, and then you want 2 of your best free throw shooters able to get the ball. Well, the problem is Jacoby is your best free throw shooter. Bishop Oswell does not make good decisions with the ball. He's not one of your best passers. And so also think about when Tennessee is defending the inbounds. We normally defend the inbounds with our taller guys to make that inbounds pass harder. So knowing that, it's smart to put Nate Ament as the inbounder because he's 6'10", and he can make that pass around most defenders. But the problem is he's your second best free throw shooter on the team. And so you would rather get the ball in. Getting the ball in is a bigger priority than having somebody else inbound it and then him get the ball and get fouled and go to the free throw line. Because if you turn the ball over, you're giving the ball to the other team with no chance to make 2 free throws. At least Felix made 1 with a chance to make 2. So that's kind of the scenario, I think, for Tennessee basketball. But again, best case would be Jacoby getting that ball, man. Like getting that ball, getting fouled, and going to the free throw line as an 80-something% free throw shooter. But you know what's next, Ben McKee?
Your boy Stephen Pearl.
Your second team.
No, my second team's Vanderbilt, baby.
Your second team. All Ben. Coming into town. Auburn, 5-3 in conference play. 14.
They've gotten a little better here of late, too.
Yeah, man. They went on the road. They beat Florida, I mean, they handled Florida, and then in that first half and held on to win that basketball game. I haven't talked to Stephen Pearl since he left Knoxville, man.
Which was how long ago?
Golly, I mean, it had to be like
When
12,
I guess left
2012,
Knoxville,
13.
he was here a couple years after he was a player.
I mean, I remember he was doing radio with us. Him and Bruce was doing radio with us on TSR.
Well, when did you start TSR?
Well, I remember we was in a different building, and that was like 2012, 13, somewhere around there. When did Bruce Pearl take over Auburn? That's when he left. That settles that. Bruce Pearl took over Auburn 2014. So that's when he left. That's when he left. So I haven't talked to him since he left. But I know how he
Over
feels.
a decade.
Yeah, I know how he feels about Tennessee. He's more pissed off at Tennessee than Bruce is pissed off at Tennessee. And Bruce is
For
the one that
firing
got fired.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce is the one that got fired. But Steven is more pissed off about it, and Steven has a feeling towards Auburn. And I wonder if he's going to be able to rein those emotions in, if he's going to coach different. I said on the other show that I think he's going to get a technical foul. Like, I'm almost certain he's going to get a tech. He's going to lose it. And he's done a really good job of keeping it together this season, more now than when he was an assistant coach. But
Well, he did run on the floor
And tried to nearly assaulted a referee at the beginning of the season.
I mean, I don't know why Steven lost his mind in that Texas A&M game, because they went to the monitor and the ball was in the player's hands. Like, dude, there's nothing else to argue. The ball was touching the dude's hand.
Well, it's because he's a poor loser. I mean, it's that simple.
He is.
He's emotional, and he's a poor loser. Sword loser, I should say.
He is. I mean, I am too, but
Yeah, I think all of us are to a certain extent.
Auburn is one of the best offensive teams in the country. They're top 10. And so this is going to be a great challenge for Tennessee, because Tennessee's defense, I mean, it's not what we're used to seeing. It's all right. It's good.
It's not elite. It's really
not
good,
it's
but
good.
It's not what we've seen in the last couple of years.
Correct. But
This is a big game for Jacoby Gillespie defensively, because Tahan Pettiford will give you issues in a heartbeat. He is a future first-round pick, most likely, in the NBA draft. Am I allowed to say that? I know he hasn't gone through the NBA combine. Can I say he's most likely a first-round pick in the future?
All right, man, I'm just trying to help you out so you don't sound weird and be wrong later. I'm trying to help you out, but I won't help you out next time. I'll let you say what you want to say.
Tahan Pettiford is really good, though, and can fill it up in a hurry. So Jacoby's going to have to be – his defense is going to be more important in this game than his offense, unless I'm overthinking it, and they'll probably just put Bishop on Pettiford. That way Jacoby doesn't have to deal with that and doesn't wear himself out on the defensive end, so he can still have his usual offensive impact. That's honestly probably what they will do, but there will still be times where Jacoby gets matched up with Pettiford, and he's going to have to be able to handle his business in that matchup, because if you can slow down Pettiford, then you're going to be in a really good spot. Also a big matchup for the front court. Tennessee's front court again, Keyshawn Hall, who transferred from Mississippi State. That's going to be a key matchup as well. And we know Auburn has talent, right? Like Bruce and Steven, they have done a great job of bringing in a lot of talent over the years. And this Auburn team is very talented. I don't know that it's at all one of their most talented teams or one of their best teams, but seems like Steven's doing a really good coaching job. It seems like this team is getting better, like Tennessee, when it matters most. So I'm excited. Another late tip, 8:30 Saturday night, I believe, on ESPN. Thompson Bowling should be rocking and rolling. Should be a great environment.
Why you do that, man? Why you emphasize should like that? You don't have faith in that the place is going to be packed and rowdy?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
No, I think that it will be, but like there is at least a little bit of doubt in my mind. But regardless, Tennessee needs to build off of they've picked up two really gritty road wins that its resume really needed for the NCAA tournament, and they need to build off of that. They can't take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. They need to take 3 steps forward and make sure that they can pull off their third win in a row here.
Yeah, Adam's right though. Nate's inbound awareness needs to be better. Yeah, he just needs to understand that's definitely a freshman mistake. I mean, here's a dude that had been playing basketball a very long time, but still, in that moment, like, you know, it's a spot throw in. You can't run the baseline on spot throw ins, and so
That was bad.
that was bad. That's just a lack of awareness.
Aside from that moment, I feel like he's been better since the Texas A&M game. He was really struggling in that Texas A&M game when old Bucky McMillan was doing his full court press. There were several issues in that game with Nate inbounding the ball. But I feel like he's been, aside from that play last night where he tried to run the baseline, I do feel like he's been better since they played the Aggies.
Yeah, you got to be really good as an inbounder, man. You know, throwing the ball away from the defense. But your timing has to be good. Like, there's a split second of where your guy's open and you got to hit him right then. And if you don't, then the defense is able to recover, and then that same angle won't be there. So it's about timing. It's about the location of the pass. It's not easy, but, you know, Ament is trusted being a 6'10" player. And, again, you hope that he learned a lot from the Georgia game, and moving forward, you don't have those issues. Fallstorm says, I'm waiting for the crowd to chant Daddy's boy. I don't know if the crowd will do that. What you think, Ben? You think the crowd will do that? Give it
Maybe if they show up on time.
Give it
I'm kidding. That's
My last little jab.
It's a
That's my
weekend
last
game.
little jab. I don't think that they will, but that would be great if they did. That would be some European soccer stuff right there, which would be great.
The only part that sucked about the win last night in Athens was I had Tennessee winning by 1.5 point spread. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, that poor Georgia player. Well, I don't know
What was he doing?
I don't know what he was doing. First of all, I don't know what any of them was doing. You're down 3. Yeah, I better hurry up. I mean, they were taking forever.
They had the ball with what, like 13 seconds?
They were taking forever. Like, you could have scored quick, the 2 points, and extend the game a little bit longer. Tennessee wasn't going to foul you. So you should have went to the basket if you were going to do all that. But I think they were trying to get a 3 because you saw the screen action at the top of the key. And Tennessee played it well. Mari Evans jumped the passing lane, kind of forced him to go to the basket. We did a really good job of protecting the 3. And then at that point, I mean, you didn't have much time left, so they had to go to the basket, and that's when he scored with 0.6 left on the clock. But that's just a collapse of situational basketball for Georgia. Good to see Danny.
I mean, the other aspect of this is that these are 18 to 23-year-olds, at least most of them are. And
I think they're 23. Chad Baker Mazzaro turned 26 the other day.
Ethan Berg's 23, but he didn't play yesterday, so.
Man, I was watching. I was looking at us in the timeout, and Amari Abrams, he was daydreaming. He was daydreaming so hard, man. I understand, dude. I get it. I understand. You ain't playing, but the camera ain't do him any favors in that moment, because like it was a timeout, it was the end of the game, and you really couldn't see much of anything as far as like the huddle because of the camera view. So they just showed kind of the guys in the back standing up, and Amari was staring into space. He was daydreaming. I don't know what he was thinking about. And then he finally kind of shook out of it. But at that point, it was a good 10 to 12 seconds of just him just locked in the space. But yeah, he didn't play. Ethan Berg didn't play, and I mean, hey, they gotta figure it out, man. They gotta figure it out, because I think Tennessee at its best, and I think Tennessee was at its best when they beat Houston, right? Is that fair to say?
Either that or these last two games.
Tennessee?
Yeah, I think Tennessee's been at its best these last two games. Because I think at its best is with Jacoby playing well, Nate playing well, and then probably JP doing what he's done the last two games. Now, JP was not necessarily good to start the Alabama game. I thought he really struggled in the first half, but made some big plays late and then was really good last night. But if they can establish any sort of consistency with JP, then I think that this might be the best version of Tennessee. But by far the best win of the season is the Houston one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even though you shot less than 30%, we shot 29% in that Houston game. That was a example of everybody contributing. You had K. Phillips too. You don't have him anymore, but you shot damn near 80% from the free throw line that night or that day, and so I don't know. Maybe this Tennessee team can go without Amari Abrams giving you anything, or Ethan Berg not giving you anything. Like Nate Ament only scored 9 in that game. Gillespie had 22. Bishop was a beast in that game, had 10. Jalen Carey was a beast in that game, had 13. But I don't know, man. I feel like you might need a little something from Amari Abrams at some point. But if Bishop is doing what he's doing consistently, maybe not, Ben. Maybe not.
Yeah, I agree. I still do think that you're going to need Abram at some point to step up and hit a big shot for you. His thing is on the defensive end, just being able to stay in front of guys.
That's his problem?
Yes.
Okay.
Is his on-ball defense. Because he has quick hands. It's just he tries to do that thing where the guy gets past him and then he does the wraparound to try to deflect the basketball. So Tennessee is going to certainly need him at some point. There's no doubt about that. But I just think that this basketball team at the end of January is totally different than the one that we saw in Las Vegas and the one that we saw against Houston. I think this Tennessee team at its best is Jacoby and Nate playing well, starting with them, and then Bishop and JP playing like they did last night, and getting some other contributions here and there. Felix Akpar rebounding the ball well. Amari Evans making some gritty winning plays. I think when Bishop and JP play well, that changes this team because it takes a little bit of pressure off of Nate and Jacoby.
No, I'm with you, man. 865-255-03. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain here in the Low T Center studio. If you are dealing with wildlife issues in your home, like my good friend Nathaniel, and call the good people at Alpha Wildlife. They're looking for shelter. It is cold outside. You don't want your crawl space, your attic, to be the shelter that they're looking for. Fix the issue. Allow Alpha Wildlife to come in and remove that issue for you. Serving Tennessee, serving parts of South Carolina, Kentucky. That is alphawildlife.com. That's their website. They've helped me. They can help you. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Stay with us.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network. Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here with you. I don't know in what world where Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, Ben. I don't know what world. But haters are going to be haters. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, no coach deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No player deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Nobody deserves to be a Hall of Famer if Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. The dude has won more Super Bowls than anybody else. It's crazy. 865-255-03. You don't like him? Cool. You want to ding him for Deflategate? Cool. But if you're going to ding him, you better be prepared to ding Tom Brady here in a couple of years. You better treat them the same because they both were a part of it. And Tom Brady benefited more from Deflategate than the coach. Which is weird. James from JC, when Barnes retire, does Danny hire his brother? And would you be okay with that? Thanks, gentlemen. Love the show. Danny's style is not Mike White's style. Now, this year's seems to be a little bit different. There's some pace that we've seen increase with Mike White's style, but I don't think that would be a good idea. I don't think that would be a good idea.
No, I think it would be an underwhelming hire. Mike White is a good college basketball coach. He was okay at Florida. He's been better at Georgia than I thought he would be, and maybe with Tennessee caring more about basketball than Georgia, maybe he would be able to have some more success than he has had up until this point in Athens. But I think it would be an underwhelming hire. I think Mike White has kind of hit his ceiling, and I think he's pretty steady, and there's something to be said for that. But again, I think Tennessee could do better than Mike White. So no offense to him. Again, I think he's a good basketball coach. I think I think Tennessee can go get somebody better.
I just don't like the dynamic of you hiring your brother as the head coach and you're the AD. Like, and the only reason why we're entertaining this is because Rick Barnes is going to retire at some point.
No.
At some point, he's going to retire.
I don't want Rick to retire.
At some point. So, if Danny White's still here when that happens, then, yeah, like, this conversation is going to come up again. It's going to come up. I'm not saying Danny White's going anywhere. I'm just saying, if he's still here, this is going to be a definitely a topic amongst Tennessee fans.
The Mike White part or Rick retiring?
The Mike White part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting move if he decided to hire his brother. Again, Tennessee could do far worse than Mike White, but I think it has elevated the program enough under Bruce Pearl, under Rick Barnes, to where it could go out and really attract one of the best coaches in college basketball. What's that?
They could. Yep, you're right.
I don't think that they're going to go get Nate Oates or somebody like that. But
trust me, we don't want Nate Oates.
No, and I didn't mean to insinuate that you want Nate Oates. But look, I'm not a Nate Oates fan because
his style is something that we can see. Because think about like the trend that Danny White has had hiring. Danny White likes points. He likes offense. He likes the entertainment factor. Josh Heupel, Kim Caldwell, Elander was a no-brainer because he was in-house, but Elander was basically the offensive coordinator for Tony Vitello all these years. And so the only thing about Rick Barnes is he was here when Danny took over the job, and Rick is one of the best in the business, but it really doesn't line up with the hiring profile from Danny White. But he's such a good coach, and he wins. But if Danny were to have to replace Rick, you can already guess what direction Danny will go into in terms of the style of play that he's looking for in the next head coach. That's all I'm saying.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you for sure. But Nate Oates is somebody that's talked about when, hey, if North Carolina fires Hubert Davis, North Carolina needs to go get Nate Oates, right? He was linked to the Michigan job. Part of that is because I believe Nate Oates is from Michigan.
He is.
But like I don't think Tennessee's going to be able to go get a Dusty May or a Nate Oates or somebody like that. And not even necessarily talking about style. It's just talking about the program has not elevated itself that much to where it could lure somebody of that caliber. But I think it could certainly still make a great hire, like we see, like the Todd Goldens of the world, who is really tearing it up at the mid-major level and is arguably the top mid-major coach at the time out of San Francisco. Like Tennessee could absolutely go hire that person for sure. One that I'm stick a pin in it, and let's come back to it later. Where's Bucky McMillan here in a couple of years? I think A&M's going to have a hard time keeping on to him the next offseason or two, but they score a lot of points. They have an exciting brand of basketball. He's had success everywhere he goes. Kind of reminds me of Kim Caldwell.
A&M got the money to keep him if they really wanted him. If they really wanted to pay big dollars.
I don't think that they do. I would be surprised if they ponied up to care about his basketball program.
Yeah, for sure. 865-255-03. Let's go to the phones. The Garza Law Hotline. Good morning.
How you doing, guys?
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, got a baseball question and I got a football question. That's okay.
All right, let it rip.
okay, on baseball, being what uh, the main changes we're going to see from new head coach in baseball. What is the main thing you'll see the drop off or maybe up on that direction? And on the football question, Swain, what needs to happen? What type of quarterback, or how hard is it for a young quarterback to understand or be successful in the offensive scheme that Heupel brings, and why is it going to be easier, or why would it be harder for a new quarterback to grab the system?
Gotcha, Turkey Man.
See, guys,
Thank
I'm
you, man.
out of here.
Thank you, Turkey Man. Thanks for the phone call. I hope you have a great day. Ben?
Yes, thank you for the phone call, Turkey Man. Hope you and yours are doing well. With baseball, the biggest change you will see is there has already been a philosophical change with slowing down the other team's running game on the bases. There were too many times in the past where Tennessee just kind of gave the other team second base, third base, because as we've talked about a bunch of times on the show, Frank Anderson was more concerned about the war at the plate than the battle on the bases. And if it's a correct line of thinking, if you get the guy out at the plate, if you get the hitter out, then the runners on base don't matter. So they didn't really hold runners on as much as you would traditionally see while watching baseball. So I think that's going to be a point of emphasis. Not that not that Tony and Frank were doing anything wrong there, but when Tennessee did have a flaw or two pop up here and there under Tony, it was typically the other team's ability to steal off of Tennessee. And I think that's been I don't think I know, because Josh has told me in my Q&A that I did with him, and he said in other interviews that they are prioritizing 90 feet more. They are going to hold on runners more at first base, at second base, and they're going to give their catchers more of a chance to throw those guys out. So that's going to be the biggest change that you see is just them holding runners on better and really trying to slow down other teams on the bases.
Football answer for Turkey Man asked about the quarterback position and how to help that quarterback be successful, what he needs to do, and what areas will he could struggle if he does. The processing, everything is faster. The time you thought you had, you don't have. So, as a receiver, I knew I had to be ready to catch the ball in and out of my breaks in 2.5, 3 seconds. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, ball. Like, if you're lucky, because of the speed at the edge and on the defensive line in the SEC. So your clock is sped up. You don't got time to be dancing at the line of scrimmage. You don't have time to be taking false steps with your release. You got to go. You got to get to your spot, your area, and be ready for the ball. From the quarterback position, you don't have time to hold on to the ball. You got to let it go. And you got to go from progression 1 to 2 to 3, 4 as quick as possible. And sometimes Josh Heupel's offense, there's no 4. That's been some of the knock. We'll see if he answers that. Freshman quarterbacks tend to hold on to the ball longer than they need to. Sometimes they also sometimes run more than they need to. Instead of standing in the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, they tend to run more. They tend to see ghosts sometimes when they're hit. Situational football is something that will have to be really good with the freshmen too. And you gain this with experience. When to throw it out of bounds, when to take a sack, when not to take a sack, when to run out of bounds, when not to run out of bounds. Hey, it's third down. and you got a chance to run, hey, man, we need you to go pick up that first down. First down, you can slide. We got 2 more downs to pick up the first, but on third down, we need you going and getting it. Remember, Nico's a first-time starter, ran out of bounds on 4th down against Arkansas on the road. So it's that's going to be a learning curve for whoever starts and plays as a young quarterback, whether that is George McIntyre or Faison Brandon. Halsley and Heupel will do their best to make things as easy as possible for their young quarterback if their young quarterback starts. And it's going to be important for everybody else around him to play better and elevate their game. Ben, Colton Hood looking good at the Senior Bowl. He's looking good so far.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
which I not too surprising
given what he was able
to do on the football field this year. For him, this week is just as about the in-person interviews as the on-field product, because you get to meet with a lot of GMs and coaches and scouts and front offices. It's very, very similar to the NFL Combine. So in terms of the similarities with the interview process at the Senior Bowl. So big week for Colton Hood, and his draft stock already appears to be very high, and it seems like he's either solidifying that or it's continuing to go up.
Yeah, he's checking the boxes right now. What the Senior Bowl is doing for Colton Hood is lining up what he did during the fall. So, like, it's one thing to watch him on film and see him in SEC play, but the Senior Bowl allows guys to get a close-up experience of what Colton Hood was doing all football season, and you get a chance to talk to him, and you get a chance to see him in an environment where he's competing against guys that are being evaluated for the NFL as well, too. So, like, the competition level is at an all-time high. And I'm sure there's nerves and all these things attached to these guys performing in practice. The fact that Colton Hood is doing what he's doing with all these eyeballs on him is only another check mark that the dude can deliver. The next test is going to be for him is to run in Indianapolis. What's going to be his 40? What's going to be his agility measurements? How explosive is he? Because they already did the weight and the height and all that stuff at the Senior Bowl. That's going to line up with what he does in Indianapolis. But the next step for him is going to be, all right, man, how athletic you are. And now he's going to be measured and put up against other corners who may be coming out early, who are juniors, and then also seniors. And he's building a case for himself to be drafted high. The way they look at you is they don't look for reasons to draft you. They look for reasons not to draft you. And then if you don't have a ton of reasons, then, hey, you'll be the ones that'll get, drafted higher. But he's doing a good job right now, man. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him, dude. He's a good one, man. He's a really good one.
And what's good for him is that the Senior Bowl changed their rules to allow underclassmen to attend. So, I mean, he's a redshirt sophomore. He's 3 years removed from high school, so he's got that under his belt as well in terms of being a younger prospect than some of the other guys that he is competing against at his spot for draft position, and that could be the difference in him going above another guy. If teams view Colton equal to another DB and he's a year or two younger, that's probably the difference in him getting drafted. If they view two guys similarly. So no, this is great for Colton Hood. Going to be pretty cool for Tennessee if it can have two corners drafted in the first round of the draft here in April.
Text box question for you, Ben. Do you mind giving a quick recap of the baseball team's new staff? Is Elander the only holdover from last season in terms of main assistants?
No, Ross Kivett is back and has stepped into Elander's role. Elander steps into Tony Vitello's role. Kivett steps into Elander's role.
You know, I like Mr. Ross Kivett.
Ross is awesome, man. He is hilarious. Just a great human being. He joined my Diamond Vols podcast last week. So if you're interested in that and missed that, it's on our Go Vols 24/7 podcast streams, wherever you find your podcasts. He was great. Towards the end of that, I encourage you to check that out. Ross is great, but he steps into the recruiting coordinator role. That's mostly his big step up in responsibility, and he'll work on the infield with Ricky Martinez, former Tennessee shortstop, who is still around, and then Josh Elander brought in Chuck Geralaman, who is a longtime SEC assistant, hired him away from Florida. Going to be Josh's right-hand man in addition to Ross. That was a big hire for Elander to get Geralaman. Went and got Craig Bell, who worked with the San Diego Padres. I know this past year, maybe the past 2 years, in kind of an advisor to the front office role. He was an assistant at Florida for a long time as well. So he's brought in guys who have SEC experience, but then a guy like Craig Bell, it's been kind of unique or cool to hear Elander talk about the thought process of bringing Craig Bell in, because Craig Bell has been in the draft rooms with the Padres the last couple of years and has kind of sat through the negotiations of trying to get this player to sign in the draft, that player to sign in the draft, evaluating what this pitcher is worth, what that hitter is worth. So Josh believes that Craig Bell is going to be able to help Tennessee come draft season have those conversations of helping their players of whether to decide to go sign in the draft or even the high school signings of whether or not to sign in the draft. So just a talent evaluator of sorts. And then you have Keegan Knoll, the new strength coach who had been with the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers for like the last 6 or 7 years. Has a good relationship with Quentin Eberhardt. So Q kind of stood on a table for Keegan Knoll to bring him to Knoxville, and runs a similar strength and conditioning program to Q. So not a major change there, just mostly a change in voice. Of course, he'll do things a little bit differently here and there, but Josh Elander wanted to keep the strength program similar, so it wasn't a shock to the players or anything like that. Really wanted to emphasize what they do at the professional level, because that was such a selling point for them. Is that Q trains the Tennessee baseball players like professional strength coaches train their players at the next level, and so they wanted to go get Keegan Knoll, and we're able to do that. So those are the staff changes. I don't believe I'm leaving anybody out. Josh Reynolds is the new pitching coach. He's going to call pitches. He was working with Frank last year, was essentially the assistant pitching coach, and I do believe that Tony brought Josh Reynolds in from Cincinnati to be the next pitching coach whenever Frank decided to retire. Obviously something else played out, so Josh Reynolds gets the promotion to pitching coach and the lead guy, and he'll call pitches for Elander this season.
865-255-03. It's our telephone number. Take a look at the text box right quick. I think we pretty much caught up here on the text box. Man, I had a question to ask you. I forgot. I should have wrote it down. Oh well, it'll come back sooner or later. City Vol says, thanks, Ben. I forgot Ross was on the staff last year, and I missed that interview you did. We'll definitely go back and listen after the show. Let's get to the Garza Law hotline here on the Swain Event, 865-255-03. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain.
What's up?
Hey, man, it's Dustin.
What's up, Dustin?
I got a question. And this may sound stupid, but I have no clue about the NBA. But if when Nate leaves this year, will he step onto any roster and become a starter in the NBA? I mean, is that how good he is?
I mean, I think that question
Depends on what team drafts him.
Yeah, I think there's time that needs to pass before we can answer that question because he's still developing. I mean, look how much he's improved in 2 weeks. So if he improved in 2 weeks this way, I mean, imagine what he's going to do his rookie season in the NBA. So I think Ben is right too, depending on what teams drafts him or who's playing in his position. But it's hard for me to believe that a lottery pick would not be a starter in the NBA.
Right. I mean, well, listen, I don't watch the NBA. I can't get into it like I can college basketball. But
I understand.
I just know, you know, Dalton Connect. I guess he's not getting to play a lot, and I thought he was amazing here. You know what I mean? And I get it. He's probably in a bigger market team in Los Angeles and all that, but. I just didn't know, man. Because I think we all can agree. Like Dalton's probably one of the best basketball players ever rolled through Tennessee uniform, and so I just didn't know like if Nate went, you know. And I'm not saying because I know there's no chance he's staying in college again, but I'm just saying like, why would you want to go to the NBA and start your clock if you're not going to get a play when you would start here and make money? Like that's what I struggle with from college to the NBA.
Yeah, he gonna make a lot of money at the NBA
so he's gonna make a lot more to go sit on the bench.
He's not gonna sit on the bench.
But you know, I'm just saying, if he did go and he didn't get a play, he's gonna make still more than he would getting to play here.
He needs to go to the NBA. He's gonna.
Okay, well, hey, I said, I have no idea about the NBA, man.
Yeah, he needs to go. There's a time when Keon Johnson was here his freshman year. And, like, Keon wanted to come back, and Rick was like, you need to go to the NBA. You need to go. And Nate Emmett is in that same boat where he's going to be a higher pick than Keon Johnson. We're talking about a lottery pick. Probably a top 10 pick right now. But who knows? He may jump into that top 5 spot. He's going to make a lot of money. He has a Reebok deal already, endorsement deal, that – it's hard to even tell he has it because, you know, he's here in Tennessee and we are a Nike school, so he really can't wear the Reebok stuff. But he already has a deal that's in place that's going to even grow when he goes to the professional ranks, and he'll be able to wear what he wants to wear. Well, not socks because socks is Nike there in the NBA uniform, but still, like he'll be wearing the shoes. You can't wear them here, but he'll be wearing the shoes there. You know, when he gets to the NBA. But, yeah, he should definitely go. And he's not going to be on the bench if he's a lottery pick. We just don't see that a lot.
Okay. He may not start right out of the gate, but he'll still play quite a bit. And he's more equipped than Dalton is for the NBA because Dalton's problem is he can't play defense. He can't keep anybody in front of him, and that's why he can't see the floor. And that's probably what will get Nate on the floor quicker than his offense is his defense and his length.
Okay, well, like I said, I have no clue about the NBA. I got one more real quick thing. It's about the strength coach. I keep hearing that I've heard on a couple of podcasts the guys say, well, they knew they needed to be held more accountable, like the new strength coach is doing that. I mean, if they knew that, why weren't they holding themselves more accountable? And I just want to ask you all, Jason, you were over there in a time where, I think somebody said it the other day, man, y'all put out posters because y'all was so physically fit. This guy, they said he's holding them accountable. So, you think they can make the change that you need to see in the 8 months? I know I've been hearing you talk about that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's plenty of time.
Appreciate it, man.
And thank you. And I don't blame the players. Like, man, you don't know. You're doing what you're told to do. You're doing what you're told to do. You trust that your coach is the expert. And if your coach is telling you to do something, you do it. Like, you don't know. You don't go against what the coach is telling you. It's the coach's job to hold guys accountable. It's the coach's job to put them in the best position to be successful and grow and develop. It's really after the fact is when you realize, like, oh, man, my coach My coach didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But, like, you can't point the finger at the players when it comes to what the strength coach should have been doing or what the head coach should have been doing. They don't know. That's like, blaming a young kid for having cavities because they're allowed to eat candy too much. It's like, hey, man, you let them do it, they're going to do it. You are the grown-up. You're the one that has to set the standard. You're the one that has to hold them accountable. You're the one that has to have the system in place for them to be successful. Nate admit, if he's drafted as a lottery pick, he ain't watching from the bench. He's just not. So I'm looking at all the rookies right now drafted in the top 10 last year, and I watch NBA like late at night because it's like good background TV right when I'm going to sleep in.
This rookie class is amazing.
Yeah. But I just don't see Nate and Mint just on the bench like Dalton Connect or even not starting. So like Cooper Flag obviously starting. Edgecombe was the third pick. He's starting. I don't know if Dylan Harper's starting with the Spurs because they're loaded.
But he's having a good year.
But he's still balling. Con Knipple might be Rookie of the
Year.
I mean, he's unbelievable. He's on a better pace than Steph Curry right now, shooting the basketball, making threes. Ace Bailey was fifth, the guard from Rutgers. Trey Johnson from Texas. I never see the Wizards on TV, but he's with the Wizards. Jeremiah Fierce is doing his thing with Pelicans. Igor Demin, I haven't seen him. He was the 8th pick. Colin Murray Boyles, he ain't riding the bench there with Toronto. And then, I don't know this. Oh, yeah. Malawach. I don't know how to say his name. The big dude from Duke. Blocking folks' shot. He's with the Rockets. I don't see him play with the Rockets that much, to be honest. He was traded to the Suns. But I don't see the Suns play. Because
it's just going to boil down to how quickly Nate adjusts to the NBA and the situation that he gets drafted into. Yeah. I think Nate will play from day one, and he doesn't have to start from day one.
No.
The Grizzlies' first-round pick, Cedric Coward, they're really high on him, but he came off the bench the first month or two of the season and eventually got placed into the lineup. So unless he goes to a team like the Wizards, who just has absolutely nobody outside of Trae Young, if he goes to that type of situation, then he'll be forced to start. But I bet you that he starts the season coming off the bench and then will eventually make his way into the starting lineup. And it'll just depend on how quickly he adjusts to the NBA and the situation that he gets drafted into. And for him, he is a really good all-around player, which will help him get into that starting lineup quicker. It's just a matter of time for Nate because there's no doubt that he still needs to grow physically, especially for that next level where he's competing against grown men. Although he did compete against Charles Bediako last weekend, he's a grown man. So, but Nate needs to continue to get stronger and fill out physically. But the basketball skill set, he's so well rounded that he should see plenty of playing time right away. I would be surprised if he doesn't. Dalton's problem is he can't play a lick of defense.
That's what I was thinking about earlier. I was trying to remember what I was going to ask you, but it was about Dalton Connect because Dalton Connect did request a trade from the Lakers. That's something we discussed yesterday on the show on Josh and Swain, and they tried to trade him the first time. It didn't work out last year. He has kind of been buried on the bench. He goes down and plays for the Lakers G League team, and he just hasn't been able to get into the rotation. So we'll see if he is moved by the trade deadline. that is approaching. Let's just hope that he goes somewhere where we can see him. Because one thing for sure, the Lakers are always on TV, and if he would have been playing, we would always see him. But the fact that he's not playing, we can't see him play. We can see him on the bench, but we don't see him play. Trade deadline is February the 5th, and hopefully we see Duncan Connect be moved and go somewhere else so he can do his thing. But yeah, gotta play defense, man. Gotta play defense. Gotta shoot the ball when you're open. Not hesitate. But he's not comfortable, man. He don't trust them folks. They try to trade him. So
he's never had a good relationship with JJ Redick. He has not jived well with JJ Redick. People at Tennessee have told me that Dalton just has never gotten along with JJ. Not that, Dalton's a diva. That's certainly not how he was at Tennessee. Maybe he has changed, but I don't think he doesn't get along with JJ Redick because Dalton's a problem child. That would be stunning to me based off of how he was at Tennessee. It's just
we know JJ's personality. It's
yes.
probably JJ.
Yes.
Yes,
So
JJ.
I did see, though, there was a Lakers reporter that came out and said that report was not true. So we have not seen a Shams Charania type report that Dalton has requested a trade. So we'll see what ends up coming of that. I would be surprised if he did not get traded just because the Lakers tried to trade him last year, as you mentioned, and he just does not fit the Lakers and what they are trying to accomplish. They need to go their separate ways. But apparently that report was not true, that Dalton went and requested a trade. Somebody online reported that, and then
Anthony Irvin.
more of a true Lakers inside source came back around and said that wasn't true. So we'll see what ends up playing out there. But I still hope that Dalton gets out of L.A. and finds himself in a better situation for him individually. But you can't be a traffic cone on the basketball floor. It's that simple.
I agree.
I mean, the Lakers need three-point shooting. They are one of the league's worst three-point shooting teams. What does Dalton do best? And he doesn't get on the floor. It was the beginning of January, and JJ Redick came out and said, Dalton's gonna get an extended look here moving forward. And a reporter asked him, what does he need to do to continue to earn your trust in minutes? And I'm paraphrasing, but JJ Redick said, play harder. So,
dang. Yeah.
Which I think that was more of a JJ Redick thing because Dalton's not the type of guy that does not play hard. I thought that was an odd quote.
Yeah, JJ been throwing his whole team under the bus this season, so
yep,
it's just time for him to go somewhere else. Simple.
Go back to the podcast with Bron in retirement.
Yeah. It's time for Dalton to go somewhere else. It's time. I would like to see him go to a situation that he can thrive in.
Just like Ja Morant for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who says no?
Straight up trade?
Straight up. Ja Morant for Giannis. Where can I sign on the dotted line?
I don't know about that one.
The Bucks would be foolish to do that.
Very foolish. Very foolish.
Just like you would be foolish to not reach out to Jennifer Morris for any of your real estate needs. Please make sure you reach out to Jennifer for all things real estate. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, she'll help you get that done. Also, as I mentioned on Tuesday, some of us have storm damage that we're dealing with. If you are one of those people, make sure you reach out to Jennifer and ask her for help because she can point you in the right direction. Even if she can't get the job done herself, she has a million great contacts. She can point you in the right direction, help you get taken care of whatever you need to get taken care of.
Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. Next week, Tuesday, we'll do it again. Be careful this weekend. Supposed to be another snowstorm on the way. Our hearts are with those without power and dealing with damage there in the mid-state and around the state. Ben, you be careful in your travels back to Knoxville. And we will do this again on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Tennessee, Auburn this weekend. We'll have that to discuss and react to. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Peace and love. We are out.